This is St. Louis, one of the great baseball centers in this country. The Chicago Cubs are in town. That means the kids will be out for this game. They've been here for hours already. And Cub fans, many of them, they were here last night and they're back today. The Cardinals and Cubs.
Cubs, Cardinals, Cubs, Cardinals, Cubs, Cardinals.
It's a day game, and it's in high definition on ESPN, and it's from St. Louis, our ESPN HD, presented by Phillips. Welcome, everybody, the Chicago Cubs, the St. Louis Cardinals. This is game 2 of the short two-game set, with the Cubs coming away with a victory last night. Another full house is going to be on hand. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne. Last night, the Cubs won, but may have also lost. Nomar Garciaparra, their shortstop, is not going to be in the lineup today, nor will he be there for some time to come. It was the third inning. Runner at first, ground ball, would end up being a double play. Nobody saw that. They saw this. Garciaparra went down. An injury clearly resulting in severe pain. He had to be carried off the field. The MRI today, it is a groin rupture. Will he be back in the lineup? For Dusty Baker, a big question.
Well, it's not good. You know, it's torn off the bone some, and there's a little separation there. So trying to determine if it's better for, you know, him in the short term and the long term, which is more important, I guess, to either operate or rehab on it. So just trying to make that decision and get a couple of opinions and find out what the best solution is to this problem.
So we'll see what the lineup looks like today. Steve Phillips, the effect on the Cubs.
Well, obviously a major loss for the Chicago Cubs. Nomar Garciaparra was expected to pick up a huge loads of the offensive loss of Sammy Sosa and Moises Alou. 76 home runs, 184 RBI. There was a major loss there in the offense. Garciaparra was supposed to be the key. Plus, Dusty Baker talked about the leadership that Garciaparra was supposed to bring. Him not being there, having to replace him with other players is going to be a major hit to this team.
You are as strong as you are up the middle. Steve Stone, what does that do to the middle of the Cubs?
It's not only Nomar Garciaparra, but it's Todd Walker. They lose a lot of offense and a lot of leadership, as Steve Phillips said. Now they've got some more speed. They got Jerry Harrison at second. They have Nathan Perez at short. They're hoping that speed at the top is going to translate into runs batted in the middle of the lineup for Patterson, Burnitz, possibly Derek Lee and Ramirez. If that's the case, the Cubs are going to be in business, but this is a big loss early.
Talk about strength up the middle of the St. Louis Cardinals. Supposedly our team that's going to win on pitching and defense, but defense last night was not there.
Last night it was somewhat surprising for the Cardinals. They were very generous toward the Cubs. They misplayed a couple of balls, one in left field, a couple perhaps in center field, and they didn't do what the Cardinals usually do. They usually defend very well. They don't make many mistakes. Last night they opened the door for the Cubs. The Cubs got 3. It was just enough. Zambrano was brilliant, and the Cubs win the big first game of the series.
Cardinals have got to play a lot better. What they did have last night is something they've had early on this season and rely on to win games, and that's starting pitching.
Well, that's absolutely right. Today's starting pitcher is no different. Chris Carpenter was everybody's comeback pitcher of the year last year in the National League. I mean, he pitched phenomenally. 15-5, 3.46 ERA, coming back from surgery. They're expecting him to do that again this year. He finished his season injured with a nerve problem to his bicep. He is now healthy and able to perform. He's won 2 of his first 3 starts. Until the Cardinal offense gets going, they need the pitching to continue to perform. Chris Carpenter, if he's on, to go with Mark Mulder and Suppan and the rest of the staff, they could have 3 ace pitchers on this starting team.
That's the hope of the St. Louis Cardinals. Ryan Dempster's ready to make the start for the Chicago Cubs. Delighted to have you with us. A noontime start locally here at Busch Stadium, home of the St. Louis Cardinals. Big crowd on hand, and we're going to talk about the author, Tony La Russa. That's the book that's out. That's all coming up. The new Busch Stadium that's going out just outside the outfield walls of the current Busch Stadium. That's going to be open next year. It'll be a whole new era for the fans here in St. Louis with a great new park. We'll talk about that. And we'll have the pivot to second base. David Eckstein will be joining us, the shortstop of the Cardinals, for our inside pitch today. Welcome back. Big crowd last night as they filled it up. They're going to do the same thing today when the Cubs and Cardinals play. The people show up. Gary Miller joining us down on the field. Tony La Russa, the new book, 3 Nights in August, is out. Bud Bissinger was the writer that worked with him on it, the author of Friday Night Lights, and it's just an excellent book if you want to understand the game in some real detailed terms. Gary Miller's with the author, Tony La Russa.
Thanks, guys. Tony, if we thought one thing about the Cardinals, we weren't going to wonder about the offense. A carryover from October at all? I mean, what's happening so far this year?
I'm starting to see a lot better at bats. No, I think it's a completely different year. Sometimes, like last night, when the pitcher does really well against you, in big leagues for years and years, you don't hit. So pitching controls the game. But we got a lot of guys starting to swing good. We'll be all right.
You moved Edmonds and Rowland in the lineup. What's the strategy behind flipping them and trying to get them, at least Scotty Rowland, going? He's certainly not been himself yet.
Well, mostly yesterday I was doing it because we were going to play Mabry, and I didn't want to back up the left-handers. But, you know, it gives a nice little right-left balance. But, you know, Rowland's going to hit fourth for us most of the year.
Seeing Matt Morris's performance, you didn't have him anywhere near what he's supposed to be last year, yet you still made the World Series. He looked like his old self in that start against Pittsburgh. How heartening was that for you?
Well, it's really exciting because, I mean, in this division, we're going to have the really good starting pitching against us, so we need good starting pitching. And, you know, Matt, he wasn't himself. He won 15 games. That shows you what a competitor. He's really a tough guy, and for him to feel better physically, that's just going to really pay off.
Do you feel more like an author or a manager? This book is doing well, 3 nights in August. What's the reaction been so far, and has it been what you expected?
You know, I haven't heard a lot from the baseball community. I heard a lot from coaches in other sports, and there's been a real good response. The public seems to like it. You know, it's Buzz had the access, and he told the story. I mean, he picked the stories to tell, the characters to write about. A lot of the perception opinions are his. You know, some things he says in there that I disagree with, but I think that, you know, women are enjoying it. Teenagers are enjoying it. I think there's a lot in the book. So, you know, it goes to a good cause. So I'm hopeful it goes over real well.
Yeah, talk to me about that, Tony. You're such a friend of the four-legged world. The proceeds will go to them?
Well, ARF is the Animal Rescue Foundation. We started 15 years ago now. In August of 2003, we built a 38,000 square foot facility. And we've gone from 17 million to a little bit under 4. So we want to pay off this building.
Okay, well, every time the book sells, help that cause out as well, guys.
All right, there's the author and skipper, Tony La Russa, trying to find a way to get some offense going for a team that's hitting only .235 coming into this game, yet the Cardinals have won 8, lost 5, and they are still number 1 in the division. Chicago Cubs, though, are the team chasing them down, but right now Dusty Baker's going to have to do some managing. He's got to decide what he's going to do now with Garciaparra out of there. You see they've relied on their offense to get where they are right now. They're starting pitching, and Penn is going to have to pick up maybe some of the slack of the offense that's not going to be there.
Well, we look at the Cubs offense here, and obviously there's some major questions with the loss of Garciaparra. They're going to need other guys to step up. Derek Lee has been really carrying this offense in the month of April. .411 batting average, as you see there, 3rd in the National League. He's going to have to continue to do this because with Garciaparra out, the pressure doesn't fall on Nefi Perez at shortstop. It falls on the other horses in this lineup to continue to produce.
There's a look at Carpenter, and he's a hard-throwing right-hander. 4-1 lifetime against the Cubs. He does have an overpowering fastball. He has a good overhand curve and a good feel for the change. He works both sides of the plate. When he's right, he's very difficult to deal with. I look for Hairston early to maybe try to bunt the ball. He's 1 for 14 against Carpenter. He had a bunt hit last night, and maybe he wants to put the pressure on Rowland early.
30-year-old right-hander is ready to go. Hairston stands in this new Cub lineup, and he takes the pitch for a strike. Hairston leading it off, has got a 7-game hit streak coming into this game today, as the Chicago Cubs offense, compared to the .235 average of the Cardinals, is hitting .271. A good deal better. They have picked up 76 runs on the season to the 62 for the Cardinals, and quickly an 0-2 count from Carpenter. Carpenter gets out 78% of leadoff batters. Anything over 75% is a very good number for a starting pitcher. So one of the reasons for his success, 15-5 year last year, you get that leadoff man out of there, don't have to deal with him. Hairston, the 0-2 pitch to him is bounced.
Molina getting much better at blocking low pitches, and he'll really be put to the test because Carpenter has gone 37 consecutive starts without having a man steal. He went the entire season last year with no stolen bases. Now that's one of the products of Mike Matheny behind the plate, but Molina throws exceptionally well.
New young catcher for the Cardinals. 1-2 delivery. Hairston fouls it off. One big question the Cardinals had coming in was behind the plate. They lost a leader. They lost an excellent defensive as well as offensive player in Matheny. The pitchers now have got to get used to a young Molina behind the plate.
It's not really fair to Molina to compare him with Matheny, who's the product of many major league seasons and a ton of gold gloves. But Molina's going to be a good one. He's got to just get a feel for each and every pitcher, and more important than what he can do, it's what he can't do.
1-2 deliveries, a chopper. Roland's going to have a tough play. Barehanded at best. Oh, yeah. Gold Glove.
There's a look at what normally is one of the league's best as far as the defense is concerned, and you see why Scott Rowland has a number of Gold Gloves on his mantle. He's one of the best in the business. Quick step to each side. That time it was a do-or-die bare hand pickup, throw in the same motion, and he cut down a very speedy Jerry Hairston Jr. at first base.
He gets that leadoff man out of there. That'll bring up Nafi Perez, talking to the home plate umpire Mike Winters. Winters clapping his hands. Let's go. I don't want to talk. Throw the ball. Rowland is in at third base. It goes to second. And not handled. Grudzelanic diving for it. He was playing him the other way. So Nafi Perez gets out of an 0 for 8 slump he had been in. A 1-out single.
Well, Mark Grudzelanic at second base in St. Louis now, replacing Tony Womack, who left as a free agent to go to New York. And the scouting report on Grudzelanic is he'll catch what he gets to. I think there we saw a ball hit to his left that a lot of second basemen probably do get to and play. Not the best range anymore for Grudzelanic, but he hangs in and turns double plays. And this team is now different up the middle with Eckstein and Grudzelanic at short and second base. But you talk to Jose Oquendo, the infield coach, third base coach for the Cardinals. He said we'll turn the double play a lot better this year than we did a year ago.
That one's out of the reach of Eckstein. That's a base hit for Patterson. So a couple of offers get taken care of. Patterson had an 0 for 5. The ball game last night was moved from the 1 spot to the 3rd spot. One of the reasons is he's now 8 for 17 lifetime off Chris Carpenter as he adds a single to that here in the first inning.
I think what the Cardinals lose up the middle, they're probably just as sure-handed. What they lose is range, and you would have to assume that Grudzelanic and Womack, Renteria, Eckstein, they probably lose a step and a half to either side with both players. They will make it up in turning the double play because both Eckstein and Grudzelanic very nifty around the bag at second.
Here's Ramirez with 2 on and 1 down.
See, that's a very good point right there. That ball to Eckstein's right probably is played by Renteria as well. And we've seen 2 balls that really are range finders for the St. Louis Cardinal infield.
Ramirez with the RBI chance in the first inning. The Cubs last night jumped out with a run in the first inning and took the lead and never gave it up. Carpenter, 1-0 delivery, and Ramirez a shot up the middle. They were playing him that way. That's 1. Grudzelanic, that's 2. What you may not get in range, you may get in scouting reports. That's what happened right there. Double play, couple of hits, nothing across. Well, St. Louis Cardinals under Tony La Russa looking for their 9th win of the season. They get that ground ball double play. 4 ground balls hit in that first half inning. Let's take a look at the lineup today for the Cardinals.
You take a look at Scott Rowland. He's the guy who hasn't heated it up so far. He's had a tough time with Dempster. If he doesn't heat it up, it's going to be tough for them to score runs.
Ryan Dempster making the start. 27-year-old right-hander.
Dempster's a sinker baller, and a sinker baller is most vulnerable in the first inning. They have a tendency to overthrow the ball. Dempster's had control problems in the first inning, and Eckstein always works the count deep. He should see a lot of pitches.
He had a 2 for 4. Eckstein did in the opener of the series last night. Takes the pitch outside. 2-ball, 1 strike count. Just the opposite of Carpenter. Dempster only gets 50% of leadoff batters out, so he puts himself in trouble half the time in innings pitched. Eckstein may have reached for one right there and helped him even the count at 2-2.
Well, he's 5'6" and 3/4. That fastball was 5'7".
Just a little bit up high then. Everything is relative. Good start, 293 average on the season for Eckstein, and that is indeed up high, and he's not going to go after it. The count goes 3-2.
Well, Eckstein is the leadoff hitter for the Cardinals because he is a very patient hitter. In 55 plate appearances this year, he's only swung at the first pitch 1 time. He makes the pitcher work.
That one to center field, not deep. Patterson coming. He does get the leadoff man here on the fly ball. Defensively for the Cubs with their new look infield.
Well, we saw Patterson make the play there. You have to be strong up the middle, and the middle infielders are going to be the big question for the Chicago Cubs as we move forward. Nefi Perez can catch the ball. He has good range, he has good hands and a strong arm. He'll make the plays. Jerry Hairston at second base has been more of a utility player the last couple years. They're going to have to step up and make plays for the Cubs to stay in games.
Walker's ground ball is going to be handled easily. Hairston is there. Boy, Walker, talk about struggling hitters. Larry Walker now 0 for 5 in the series, 0 for his last 7. He's taken extra batting practice and still not hitting the ball the way he wants to.
Well, he admits when he's struggling, he just doesn't have his balance. He lunges at pitches. He's swinging at pitches he can't handle very well. And right now, even all the extra work with Hal McRae, the new hitting instructor, isn't doing him a whole lot of good.
Here's Pujols. He delivered a home run in last night's game. 2 down and nobody on as he stands in here. Pujols now 4 homers, batting .283 on the season and putting up some extra base hits as he's got 3 doubles to go with the 4 home runs. The Cardinals have won games this year because their starting pitching has been outstanding, but they've got to get this big-time offense going, and that's going to be a base hit in the left center field. So Pujols is on with a 2-out single here in the first.
Albert had problems with plantar fasciitis all year last year, and they did some work on it in the offseason. Now, he says although he can still feel it, it's a whole lot better. As you can see, he lifts his foot. He takes a very small stride. Consequently, he's always in balance, very rarely lunging at anything, and he's got prodigious power to all fields. That's what makes him so dangerous in RBI situations.
It's a good word.
Power?
RBI. Jim Edmonds up. Edmonds had a 1 for 4 last night, hitting at .270, and on that fastball, he was about 8 miles behind that one.
You know, it's interesting. The Cardinals hitters, when you're struggling, oftentimes you think you have to swing your way out of the slump. And with a guy like Ryan Dempster on the mound who has difficulty throwing strikes at times, you're better off taking some pitches, trying to get ahead in the count so that you get a hitter's pitch to swing at. And the Cardinals yesterday against Zambrano and again today are coming out swinging the bats instead of trying to work the count to get a better pitch to hit.
Both these pitchers want to go. These hitters may have to step out starting early in this game. Otherwise, they're going to get some pitches in a hurry before they're ready.
Last night, 3 different innings. The Cardinals went down without double digits in pitches. 6, 8, and 9. Zambrano left with a blister. If they're a little more patient, that blister might have formed earlier.
Edmonds fouls that one off. A .294 career hitter entering this season for the veteran in the outfield, Jim Edmonds. He's got a runner on at first base, Pujols, and 2 down here in the first inning.
Right now, the outfield a little deeper than they'd normally play because you want to make sure that you can cut off a double. You don't want Pujols to score from first. Edmonds does have power to all fields.
4 for 14 with a homer lifetime off Ryan Dempster. Dempster gets him to chase one a little bit, and he fouls it back, and it stays 0-2. He was talking to the home plate umpire last night. Edmonds was. That was Bruce Fremming about the strike zone, and he's protecting it big time here, reaching a little bit, making sure he doesn't get called. Very wide stance for Edmonds, talking about strides. 0-2 delivery to him. No stride at all there, and he went around. He's still going to be talking to Bruce Fremming. As Bruce Fremming's down at third and said he went around on that pitch as Mike Winters asked for help. So Dempster gets a strikeout. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We've completed 1 from Busch in St. Louis. No score. Pretty good guess that's not an imported beer. What do you think? Just a guess.
Could be imported from just across the river.
That would be the extent of it. Jeremy Burnett's 2 for 4 in the ball game last night. 3-game hit streak for Burnett's after the first pitch from Carpenter, and fouls it off for a strike. Cubs on a road trip. They've had 4 wins, 2 losses. They wrap up the road trip here in St. Louis today, and then they will be heading on home to Wrigley. They have the Pittsburgh Pirates. Greg Maddux is 0-1, scheduled to go in the first game of that series. Burnett's up high, 1-1.
Cardinals in a streak where they're playing 15-21 at home, and normally that would be a good thing, but coming off a 5-0 road trip, they haven't found the stride yet here in St. Louis.
A lot of players feel that more pressure at home when you're not playing well to get things turned around, just to try and get it done in front of your home crowd and not hear boos coming, which rarely happens in St. Louis, from your own fans.
And the pass list grows a little bit. A lot of friends coming to the game, so I think they'll eventually take advantage of the home park. It's just one of those oddities in the game of baseball early.
1-2 is fouled off. Carlos Zambrano last night, great start for the Chicago Cubs. He missed a complete game by a third of an inning. He gave up 1 run, 5 hits, 8 2/3 innings, and he was dominating.
Oh, he was an animal on the mound yesterday. Very, very aggressive, pounding the strike zone. He pitched that game like he wanted to win it. He wasn't just out there doing his job. He was a man on a mission.
Came out with a blister in that 9th inning. It broke on him, and otherwise he probably would have finished the ball game.
And don't forget the triple, because that was a big play in the game. So it was a blood blister. They probably popped it, put a little salve on it. Oh, it'll heal very quickly.
And the only thing he wanted to talk about today was the triple.
Exactly.
And an RBI.
Well, he can hit from both sides of the plate, and he's got very good power from both sides.
First major league triple, and he got it in the 2nd inning after he tried to lay down a couple of bunts that he didn't do. Burnett's chops that one to short. Eckstein. Another ground ball up. We were talking about David Eckstein last night. Before the game, we were talking about how the bases came to be 90 feet away and how it took a couple of adjustments over the first few years of baseball to find that exact distance. Eckstein's one of those who loves the distance. It's just right.
Just right. If it were a little bit longer, he might have some problems, but he always gets the runner just by a hair.
That's what he's noted for.
With the nickname of Just Enough, he does just enough all the time, either with the bat or the glove and arm, to keep him in the major leagues.
And Lee to right. Atom ball. Walker in his tracks right there, and Lee's retired. 2 down.
You have to credit Cardinals scouting with Chris Carpenter, because the Cardinals probably don't get him if his arm doesn't go away in Toronto. He hurt himself. They paid him in a year when they knew he couldn't pitch. He had 2 arm surgeries trying to come back. Last year, probably the ace of the staff, and this year they expect no less from him. At 10 over 500, when you win 105 games, that's really contributing at the top of the rotation.
Hollinsworth fouls it back. He had spent 9 years with Toronto, signed by the Cardinals as a free agent in 2002, had the 15-5 mark last year, was 6-2 here at Busch in home games pitched.
Well, both of these starting pitchers today with Carpenter and Dempster shows the creativity of the general managers in putting the team together.
Broke his bat on that one. Eckstein just in time. Hollinsworth is retired. It's a 1-2-3 inning. When we come back, Scott Rowland in a slump. Will he get out of it today? Scott Rowland will stand in for the home Cardinals as we go to the bottom half of the 2nd inning against Ryan Dempster. Rowland had a 1-for-4 in the ball game last night. Dempster is not one of his favorite pitchers to face. He's only gone 3 for 19 against him. He has had 1 home run, but Dempster has struck him out 9 times. Just the guy you want when you're hitting 204. And an outside corner pitch misses.
They're playing him very deep on the left side, and Rowland, a lot like Lee, despite being a big man, he's got good speed, so a tapper is going to be tough to get him. But he hits the ball so hard, they're respecting his power.
Right-hander's pitch is outside. 2-1 to Rowland. He had career years for himself last year in average, home runs, RBIs. He got very comfortable here with the St. Louis Cardinals. Loves playing here now, and they in return have taken him in. 2-1 drilled foul.
Well, in the 2 days we've been here to watch the Cardinals play and watch Rowland swing the bat, he looks very stiff at the plate. Even in batting practice, everything looks rigid and mechanical, almost like his back bothering him. He just doesn't seem to cut it loose in the way that he did last year. He just had reckless abandon when he attacked the ball at times last year. We haven't seen that kind of swing yet.
He's got a bad left knee, too, that some think is still acting up on him. It did in spring training, and I'm not sure it's 100% right now, and that would obviously affect your swing. Trying to put some weight on it. 3-2 delivery to him. Rowland fouls it back.
He got off to such a great start last year. He had 337 in April with 27 runs batted in. And so they counted on him to get off to a similar start this year. It hasn't happened so far. Dempster has been working him away, and normally when Dempster's right, his wipeout pitch is that good slider. It breaks more than most pitchers' sliders.
3-2 delivery to Roland, and he walked him. Not something you want to do a leadoff batter, especially one who's struggling at the plate.
But that's a great sign for Scott Rowland right there, to be able to have some patience, work the count, and not try to get out of a slump by swinging yourself out of it. It just compounds the problem because you end up swinging at bad pitches. With Ryan Dempster, who has command problems at times, you have to be patient and get a pitch to hit.
Grzelcyk's a contact hitter, and this is a situation where Tony La Russa, trying to stay out of the double play, can use Grzelcyk on the hit and run, because his normal stroke is to right and right center.
Roland gets just his 3rd walk of the year. Grzelcyk did not play last night. He takes the breaking ball away. He's batting at .250 with a couple of RBIs on the season. Only 6 strikeouts, 3 walks, a contact hitter. No score, 2nd inning. 2nd game. 1st series meeting. Cardinals Cubs are not going to meet again until the middle of July. That one grounded towards the middle. Perfect double play. Hairston Perez. Nice pivot by Nafi Perez. And they get the double play. So the double play working here for Dempster. Sunday night, Joe and John and Joe Sunday Night Baseball presented by Bank of America, the American League West. It's the Angels hosting the Athletics. It'll be at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific. ESPN also available in ESPN Deportes and ESPN HD. Sunday Night Baseball. Steve Phillips, Steve Stone, I'm Gary Thorne. Great to have you with us. Felt more like San Francisco this morning here in St. Louis land, as there was a lot of fog and haze, and it was actually very cool. A little cool air coming off the Mississippi. Still overcast. We've had some sun, but overcast right now. Reggie Sanders did not play last night. Gets into the lineup. 2 down, nobody on.
National League pitchers trying to pump Reggie Sanders inside. He spent his entire career through 7 teams in the National League.
No secrets for National League pitchers out in front of the off-speed delivery.
Well, Reggie was disappointed not being in the game yesterday. It was his daughter's, Carson's, 5-year-old birthday, and he wanted to get a chance to play and get a hit for her yesterday, and was disappointed he wasn't in there until pinch hitting late, but he's got a shot today to deliver for her.
4 for 15 over the last 3 games that he has played in. Sanders takes the 1-1 pitch outside. He had appendicitis in spring training. That kind of slowed things down for him a little bit, but he's recovered from that at this point, and this can be a big bat in this already powerful Cardinal lineup. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Off the fist, shallow right field. Long way for Brunitz. Hairston out. Hairston will make the play. No runs, no hits, only 3 batters faced. 2 complete from St. Louis. Cubs Cardinals. Zip zip. It'll be Perez, Patterson, and Ramirez due up for the Cubs as we go to the 4th inning. Chris Carpenter hasn't walked anybody, struck out 1. Dempster's 1-1 in that department. Both offenses held down. Chicago a couple of hits. St. Louis has had only 1 Pujols single. Whereas Patterson had back-to-back singles in the 1st inning, but they got taken out on a double play. They got Carpenter out of the inning. Perez now 1 for 6 lifetime off Carpenter. Rolling in at 3rd base. Loops that one up in the air to shallow left field. Reggie Sanders was very shallow, so he gets under it, puts it away. Let's check in with Gary Miller. Gary.
Corey Patterson's one of the Cubs' best hitters, and this is his 2nd start in the 3rd hole. He's also batted 2nd. He's led off 10 times. Talked to him before the game. Hey, you're hitting well. You've knocked 3 out of the park. I said 1, 3, 2. He said 6, 7. Doesn't really matter to him. He's raking right now, but obviously he's not hitting deep in the order like he did last year.
Gene Kleins has worked long and hard with Corey Patterson on pitch selection and which pitches he can drive. He's a pretty good bunter. They worked on it last year with Sonny Jackson, where he learned how to bunt for a base hit. What they didn't work on very much was bunting for sacrifices. Gene Kleins has taken over as a hitting instructor. He's done a nice job, and Corey's one of the beneficiaries of his expertise.
Drives that one to center field. Edmonds is back there. 2 down in the 4th.
Well, you know, it's not surprising that Patterson has fared well against Carpenter in his career, because Patterson's a swinger. He doesn't take pitches, so Carpenter, being a pitcher who's around the strike zone and in the strike zone quite frequently, plays into Patterson's game. He likes to swing, and if it's over the plate, he's going to have a better path to the ball and fare much better. And the numbers bear that out with his 8 for 18 against Carpenter in his career.
The point you brought up earlier was a good one about the different approaches against the pitchers. The Cubs are approaching Carpenter like the opposition approaches Maddox. They know he's going to be around the plate. They're just up there swinging early in the count.
Ramirez doing that to short. Eckstein eats that one up. 6 pitches for the 1-2-3. Cardinals, they'll start with the number 2 man in the order and have that power coming up. Cardinal fans of all ages, this great franchise which continues to draw 3 million plus a year after year after year, and this Cardinal team with 105 wins last year gave them a lot of reasons to be here before losing to the Red Sox in the World Series. Pitches take it inside for a ball as we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. No score, a 1-0 count. Walker grounded out his first time up, trying to get out of an 0 for 7, and a strike taken on the inside corner. Cardinals continue with an ongoing problem early in the season. Leadoff men are not getting on base. 17 out of 105. That's a 162 average for Cardinal batters leading off an inning. It is now a major league low. They were 1 for 9 in the ball game last night. Walker leading off here, takes it up high.
If they're ever going to break out of that, it's going to be right here at 3-1. You figure that Dempster's going to go to that sinker. Walker normally a pretty good hitter when the ball's down, especially if it's out away from him.
Batting at 205 right now. Walker takes it inside, and indeed he does get on. Second walk given up by Dempster in the game. The other one came leading off the 2nd inning to Rowland. Pujols coming up. Dinger last night.
Well, you just don't want to put runners on base in front of Albert Pujols because it ends up hurting you that much worse because of how he can swing the bat. He has probably the fewest holes of any hitter at the major league level. He handles the high ball and the low ball, the ball in and the ball away. He really is very difficult for a pitcher to pitch to.
Pujols kept the string alive. The Cardinals have had a home run in each of their last 9 games. In fact, that has primarily been their offense.
If you're on the mound and you're Dempster, you know you have a good sinker. You're trying to throw something down in the zone and hoping that Albert beats it into the ground. This isn't the fastest infield grass in the league. In fact, it slows it down somewhat. And why the Cardinals, knowing I had a little more limited range up the middle, I would get the infield grass up a little higher.
Pujols with an 0-1 count. Runner at first base. Walker not fast, bounced in the dirt. Good stop made by Blanco. Dempster's given up only 1 home run, that to a left-hander this year. Even though teams have hit .302 off him in his previous 3 starts, it's not the long ball.
The Cubs were going to use him as a closer. They entertained the idea of putting him in that closer derby in spring training. But in an effort to get him innings, because he hadn't had a start since 2003, he won the 5th starting job.
Talking to Dusty Baker before the game too, he said that Glendon Rush played into that decision as well. The left-hander, they thought he could start if Dempster went in the pen, but the versatility of Rush being in the pen paid off more for them, they thought, over the course of the season.
Dempster so far on the year with that 1-2 mark has had decisions in the games that he started. 8-3 loss to Arizona, a 1-0 win against San Diego, and a 4-3 win. The Pittsburgh Pirates won that ball game. 1 ball, 1 strike count here. Pujols with a base hit his first time up. Fooled on that pitch. Foul tipped it into the mitt. It's about as bad a swing as you'll ever see him take.
He was surprised by a good hard slider. That's probably the best pitch that Dempster has, and when it's right, it goes down and it moves late. A hitter can't pick it up. He thinks it's a fastball and it disappears.
Throw over, almost gets away at first base. Cardinals, they're not the running Redbirds. 2 stolen bases on the season, and if there's anyone who's probably not going to take off, it's Walker. Trying to keep the double play obviously in line here. Pujols pops it up, third base side. Ramirez, a lot of glare, shades his eyes, puts it away. Pujols retired, 1 down. Walker remains at first. Jim Edmonds coming up. Edmonds, the lone strikeout victim the Dempsters had so far in this game. Toward the middle. Just can't seem to get it going. 263, 10 RBIs for Edmonds so far in the middle of this Cardinal lineup that just walked away with the offensive numbers last year. Squared to bunt.
Wow, that tells you right there about the confidence of the hitters. Now look, Edmonds, you know, he may turn right around and poke one through and get a base hit and think what a great play. But these are the sluggers. These guys bang it off the wall, through the wall, and over the wall. For them to start thinking about bunting, I think goes to the mindset of this offense right now.
1-0 delivery to him. Takes that one. 1-1.
But there's another factor why he showed bunt. Ramirez was back almost at the grass. Now he comes in at the cut of the grass in front. He takes about 5 steps away from him and forces him to come in. If he slaps a ground ball through the left side, Ramirez isn't going to have near the angle where he normally have.
Dempster wants the signs again. Cardinals as a team right now are next to last in average. They are 11th of the 16 teams in runs. They've drawn the fewest walks in the National League. It's that patience they have not shown that we were talking about. Edmonds will take it 1-2.
You know, if I'm Tony La Russa or Walt Jocketty, the general manager right now, and I hear the numbers about our offense, the way I look at it is I think that's great news. Because we're 8-5. We're winning baseball games, and our offense is as bad as it's going to be all year. It's bound to get better, and when it does, it will sustain us throughout the rest of the season. That's good news.
Boy, you get jammed on that. Ramirez over to get it. And did not get the out. And all of a sudden, that show of bunt came into play.
That's exactly what happened. If he was back just 2 steps, he cuts across and makes the play at second easily. But Ramirez in a step or two made it a much more difficult play, and the hustle of Larry Walker allowed him to get in at second. Hunter Wendelstedt on the call. Ramirez thought they had him. We'll slow it down, take a look at a very nice effort. And from his knees, Ersson might have come off the bag a touch early.
Walker was there too early. I mean, he got there. It was a good effort. So Walker gets there. Edmonds gets a hit. Runners on at first and second. The little things in the game. Edmonds squaring around to draw Ramirez in a few steps, and then Ramirez has a tough play. Scott Rowland.
That's why this is a game that I liken to chess, in that once you learn the moves in chess, it's a simplistic game. You look at it, it's very easy. Baseball seems to be a simplistic game, but there's probably 8, 9, 10 layers to the game, and the subtle things usually tell the difference. It's a beautiful game. It's an intricate game. Not too many people know it better than Tony La Russa and can break it down on a daily basis like he can.
Rowland takes it outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Drew a walk his last time up. Rowland now with the RBI chance. This is where he, of course, was so big. The Cardinals offense last year, driving in runs. He's had only 6 RBIs so far this year, only 1 away. Rowland down to third. That is a fair ball. That'll bounce off the stands. Walker will score. Shortstop did not go out to help. They'll hold him up. It'll be a double. Ball got bobbled, but the runner had already stopped. Edmonds at third base. RBI double, Rowland.
I'm not sure if Edmonds' knee is okay. And the reason I say that is normally he scores on that ball because you keep on going until your third base coach puts up the stop sign. If he'd have kept his momentum going forward when Hollingsworth dropped the ball, he would have been able easily to score.
The other thing that may show that, Steve, is that Jose Oquendo stopped him. He may know that he does not have 100% ability in those legs and wasn't going to take a chance, as Edmonds got held up there, and he would have scored easily if he kept going. Career double 300 for Rowland. The infield moves in. Runners on at second and third. Did not go around. Mark Grudzielanek. Cardinals take a 1-0 lead on their third hit of the game.
Hitters love to hit with the drawn-in infield because it puts about 50 points on their batting average. You can loop it over their heads. You can hit it by them because there's no angles for a ground ball.
1-0 delivery, and that's going to be taken away. 2-0. Grudzielanek hit into a double play his last time up.
Well, this is the spot in the lineup a year ago that Edgar Renteria often found himself in with runners in scoring position. They're hoping that Grudzielanek will replace the at-bats that Renteria gave him in these sort of critical game situations.
Cardinals with a chance on a base hit. They had a couple of runs. Takes the fastball, taking all the way 2-1. Outfield very deep on Grutzelanic in center and left here. Grutzelanic's gone 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position to start the season.
Corey Patterson, one of the better throwing center fielders, but it's the toughest throw in the outfield because you have to contend with the mound.
Chased one right there. Just trying to put one on the ground through that drawn in infield. 2-2.
Patterson very deep in center field with Grutzelanic up right here. With his speed, I think he could play a little bit more shallow and have a chance to be able to hold Rolen from scoring on a base hit.
I think the best arm in the outfield is Burnett's in right field. He gets rid of the ball quickly, and normally he's pretty accurate.
Dempster, key moment in this game. 2-2 delivery in the dirt. Gets stopped by Blanco, and it's a 3-ball 2-strike count.
Blanco showed you why he's 4-0 and why he's in the game. Because that saved a run. It saved 90 feet with 2 base runners. That was a tough pitch to handle. A slider down, and he smothered it nicely.
Mike Grutzelanic, 81 games played last year, hit .307 and missed it. I think he's tagged out of there. Yes, he did not foul it off. He was trying to get a call from Mike Winters that he tipped it, but he did not, and there is a big second out.
Well, now Dusty has a decision. Do you pitch to Reggie Sanders, who's a bona fide power hitter, and take your chances with Molina, who's hitting below 150? You've got first base open. Or do you pitch to Sanders? Now, factored in the equation is that Dempster doesn't have the greatest control at this time of year.
Let's see what the call is. Reggie Sanders popped out his first time out. He's 6 for 20 off Dempster, and indeed he will draw the intentional pass that will load the bases for Molina.
I agree with this decision right here. I think you have to do this. You have to pitch to the young hitter with the pitcher behind him and put Reggie Sanders on base. One thing Reggie Sanders can do, he can get very hot. He's been going through a hot streak right now. You definitely don't want to lose the game by him driving it in with Molina standing on deck.
Ball 4 coming up. There's the intentional pass. Randy Sanders will trot on down. Gets his first intentional of the year. Only the 4th the Cardinals have drawn this season. Now the sacks are loaded, and Molina with a chance for some redemption, who popped out to second in his only at bat. He's had only 1 RBI this year. 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position for Molina. Batting just .150 on the season, but as we said, of late he's picked it up a little bit. Cardinals with 2 down. Starts him with a breaking ball outside.
I watched him hit in the Pittsburgh game before they came into town, and what he was doing was looking to right and right center field. He wasn't trying to pull everything because the Pittsburgh pitchers were staying away. Dempster figures to do the same thing.
They want it checked at first. Winters will go, and it is a strike. Jerry Meals. That's one of those where Mike Winters was reluctant to go because in his mind there was no question, there was no swing. Meals said there was. Pretty close. 1-1. Chased it.
You're not going to have to get the ball in the strike zone to get an anxious young hitter out. The question is, a lot of pressure will fall to Blanco because the slider low and away will probably end the at-bat. Blanco has to block it if it's in the dirt.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Molina waiting, and they tried to get him to go after another one. This time he refuses. Yadier Molina looking for the first big hit of the season for him. He's not going to turn 23 until the middle of July. He's only played pro ball for 4 years, 51 games with the Cardinals last year, learning from Matheny, the starting catcher. 2-2 delivery. Molina's got that one to left field. Bosworth coming, and he gets there and puts it away. So the strategy works on that one. A 31-pitch, 1-run 4th inning for Ryan Dempster.
And I
swim in a sea of red. Being in a sea of red, I feel the city of St. Louis come to life. There's nothing but red in Busch Stadium, cardinal red. It was a happy color. I cry at any game because when the national anthem starts and the game's getting ready to go, there's no place else in the world I'd rather be. With every Cardinals baseball game, every baseball game is a holiday. It's baseball. I live for this.
Catch Major League Baseball all season long on ESPN. Don't miss it.
We want all lawyers to take note of this sign.
I think it's terrific. My wife is a family divorce lawyer, and I will deliver my card to those folks.
No, I take it back. They're all set. They're touching jackets. It's okay. Jeremy Burnett's. Burnett's grounded out his first time up. He's batting at .305 in the year. 3-game hit streak coming into this one. Carpenter with a 1-0 lead. 3 hits for the Cardinals, only 2 for the Cubs. Carpenter's retired 10 in a row now after he gave up 2 ground ball singles in the first inning to Perez and Patterson. Jeremy Burnett's not catching up to that one. That is strikeout number 2. Let's take a look at the hot topics around Major League Baseball. And believe me, there are some surprises just on this short list we show you as part of our day game.
It's been a tough year for the closers, as you can see by that percentage. The Dodgers has been terrific, and your favorite player,
Brian
Red
Roberts,
Hot.
this guy is something else. 50 doubles last year in the American League with only 4 home runs. And now those doubles, he's learned how to hit at the Major League level. He's not learning how to hit for power. Those doubles are translating into balls going over the wall.
That one grounded up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit. And Derek Lee has got a 5-game hit streak as he's 1 for 2 in this game. And I think the Orioles are suddenly making believers out of the Red Sox and the Yankees, as well as some baseball fans. They are tied with Boston with a 9-6 mark. Yankees 3 games behind them at 6-9 on the season. Baltimore 7 of their last 10 W's. And they are for real. I mean, they're going to be tough to play against.
Well, they have a very deep and potent lineup. The big question for them on any given night is how is their starting pitcher going to perform? If they get decent starting pitching, they're going to win a lot of baseball games because they can swing the bats.
Pitch taken inside. Todd Hollinsworth with the leadoff with a man on here with 1 down.
You have to really keep a close eye on Molina and Pujols because they work on that pickoff. And if you stray off the bag at all, this twosome will throw behind the hitter and get you.
Not a big lead for Lee, who can steal bases and did last night. Hit hard into right field for a base hit. Hollinsworth. Lee will go to third. Walker will get it into second. And the Cubs have something going here in the 5th inning. Corners covered with 1 away.
Well, you've got 8 and 9 coming up. So do you think about the suicide or safety squeeze with Blanco? Hard hit ball by Hollinsworth. And the Cubs trying to break through.
Got a real shot at it here. Carpenter with Blanco up 0 for his last 12, grounded out his first time up.
It's Chris Spire, the brand new third base coach for the Cubs, former Giant.
Carpenter with a look. Wants that ground ball right here. And we'll take the timeout at the plate. Blanco.
Managers tend not to want to do a sacrifice bunt to tie the game. Usually it's to extend the lead, because if it blows up and it doesn't work, you've just run your runner into an out at the plate in a situation where you've got a guy 90 feet away from scoring a run to get that tie.
1 strike count. Chris Carpenter trying to protect a 1-0 lead here. And Blanco. Spire again with the signs. Would you run Hollinsworth here?
In a safety squeeze situation, Lee is a good enough base runner to come about a third of the way and watch where the bunt is. Not a good one, you go back. Because Rolen is back at third.
0-1 count. Blanco waiting. Runner not going. Swung out and missed out of the zone.
Yeah, see, I guess the way I look at it is, even if you sacrifice the safety squeeze, Lee doesn't go and Hollinsworth goes to second. You give up an out, and with the pitcher up next, you end up with second and third, 2 outs. I'll take my chances that Blanco might get a fly ball, even though he is challenged at times to make contact.
Now 0-2. Rolling back another step at third base with the 0-2 count. And the breaking ball from Carpenter is outside. 1-2 on Henry Blanco. Cubs trying to get on the board here in the fifth inning, down 1-0. The 2 on and 1 away. Trying to do it with the bottom of the order. Blanco and the pitcher Dempster on deck. Dusty Baker's team has done well on the road, batting over .290 so far with 5 wins, 4 losses in road games. 1-2 delivery by Carpenter, a little breaking ball, and it's fouled off, and that may be fortunate for the Cardinals.
That almost was the safety space right there.
That would have worked out pretty well with Rolen back at third.
You see how Molina played that to make sure the ball did not come fair. He circled fair territory, would get out there so that if that ball took a hop back towards the playing field, he was going to be able to block it and keep it a foul ball. That's a young catcher watching Matheny and learning.
He's also looking in the dugout on every pitch to see just exactly what pitch they'd like him to call.
1-2 fastball hit right back to Carpenter. He's got Lee hung up at third base. Look what I found. Over to Scott Rowland. Runs him in. The tag at the plate. Runners will advance. 2 down.
If he goes to second to first, it's a double play. I mean, I understand where he wants to cut down the lead man, but now he's got runners at second and third. You have 2 outs and a chance for Dempster maybe to loop one in. I always like, on a comebacker this hard, I like to go second to first. You turn 2. His instinct was to look at Lee, and Lee did a nice job. He was hung out to dry, but he kept the inning alive and made sure there wouldn't be a double play.
Yeah, you're right. It looked like when Carpenter fielded the ball, his body turned like, and he was looking at Lee and saw him starting to break, and it almost would have to turn his body all the way back around to make the throw to second. He almost looked surprised he caught it as well, because then I think that shocked him a little bit.
But you have to know also who's running, and It was Blanco. They would have had a long time to turn 2. As it is, we'll see what happens with the resolution of this at bat. But they're being given an out that they probably wouldn't necessarily have received.
Ryan Dempster up, grounded out his first time up. 2 down. At second and third, Hollinsworth and Blanco are the base runners. He also ended up with a rundown, not going in the direction you want it to defensively. You want to make that out in a rundown at the bag the player's coming from, not the one he's heading to.
Well, the credit, Derek Lee gets the credit for that. He did a tremendous job getting the movement going back toward the plate, allowing Hollinsworth to go to third and Blanco to get to second base.
0-1 count. Dempster takes it for a strike. 0-2. Ryan Dempster trying to help his own cause here and come up with a base hit. 1 for 7 on the season. He does not have an RBI. 1 single is what he's picked up on the year. Oh, 2 delivery with 2 down. Fouls it back up over the screen.
Carpenter got away with one. That was an overhand breaking ball that stayed up in the zone, and for him, fortunately, he threw it to a pitcher. If you're going to make a mistake, you make a mistake to a guy hitting 070 lifetime.
Why not just throw fastballs here? Another big yacker. I mean, you got a chance on those of one getting by the catcher. Molina had to go out to stop that, and that would allow a run to score from third.
Well, having been a breaking ball pitcher, you have to have supreme confidence that your catcher can block a curveball in the dirt with a man at third. Otherwise, you're going to wind up hanging it. And I think this staff is pretty confident that Molina can smother anything.
Carpenter with a 1-2 delivery. Another breaking ball slapped to second. Drew Solanic. So Carpenter with a little help works his way out of it. No runs, couple of hits. 2 are left in scoring position. Bob Doherty, the man who has helped put together the St. Louis Cardinal team. Gary Miller will be with him.
Back at Busch Stadium on game day. Day game is 1-0 St. Louis, and a great pitcher's duel. And we're welcomed in now Cardinals general manager Walt Jocketty. And Walt, we've got a great series here between the Cubs and Cards, and last year you guys made it all the way to the World Series when you weren't even picked to win the division, but you've had to do some significant retooling. What was the most difficult thing, the most difficult decision to make in the offseason in the personnel change?
Gary, it was very difficult for all of them because we had such a great team, not only great players with great makeup on our club, a great chemistry, and it was tough to. But we had some tough business decisions to make, and you know, Renteria, Woody Williams, Mike Matheny, Steve Klein. You know, those are tough guys to replace, and for a while we were a little concerned because we didn't know we were going to be able to make any deals. We left Anaheim at the winter meetings, and a lot of things we'd lost Renteria and a couple other things that Matheny was leaving, and so we finally made the Mulder trade, and then we were able to sign Eckstein and sign Grzelcyk, and things just started to fall into place.
Your team made it last year with pitching and a lot of guile, but you really overpower people with hitting. Right now you're doing it kind of in reverse. Guys aren't hitting. Roland dropped in the order a little bit to try and get him underway. Your old adversary Steve Phillips said during the broadcast today, hey, this is great, they're 8-5, they're gonna hit.
Right. Well, Steve and I talked about that yesterday, because, and he's right, you know, at some point these guys are going to take off. We had, you know, some of these guys had very good springs. You know, Albert had a great spring, and he's started off okay, but not like he has in the past. Roland had a great April last year, and a couple other guys. So it's, you know, we know at some point they're going to start hitting. Right now, it's just nice to see, you know, like Carpenter's pitched a great game today. Supan, without his best stuff last night, battled a great pitcher in Zambrano and kept us in close. And so we have to, our offense really has to start kicking in and score runs early to take the pressure off the pitching.
Well, you talked about Renteria, and you were in that sweepstakes. You really wanted to keep him. He wanted to stay here. But give me a sales pitch for David Eckstein, maybe the most criticized guy, but he's got the World Series ring. He's got a 3-year contract. He's at the top of your order. Tell me about why you like David Eckstein.
Well, when you watch him play every day, and you see, number one, the enthusiasm he brings, the players love him because he's fit in well. He's just a great kid. And the fans, we knew would follow him because of the way he plays, a hard-nosed player. But you watch, and he gets a base hit. So, you know, this is, you look at his on-base percentage, the things he adds to the top of the lineup, and, you know, he's already has made some great defensive plays for us, and I think we're glad we finally were able to sign him. Because once we lost Edgar, you know, it was pretty tough to try and find somebody to replace him, but we're very happy with David.
Yeah, and that speaks for itself. Thanks a lot, Walt. Gary, back to you.
Well, he delivers for the GM right there.
Gotta love that, boy. When you're out talking about the guy and he delivers for you, gotta love it.
His ears were ringing. Eckstein on with the base hit, 1 down.
Every spot in the batting order has a different responsibility, and for a number one hitter, you look for how many pitches he sees and what's his on-base percentage. Gone are the days when you can expect 400 out of that leadoff hitter, but Eckstein's going to be close to that.
He's doing it right now for them, and he's on here for Walker. Drew a walk and scored in the 4th inning. The only run we have in this game, the RBI double by Roland, who delivered the RBI, bringing Walker home. Eckstein replacing Edgar Renteria, now with the Boston Red Sox. Larry Walker takes it inside.
Edgar was a run producer, and that's one of the things that really make a big difference. A couple of years ago, Edgar drove in 100 runs. David Eckstein is not going to do that, but as a leadoff hitter, they don't ask you to do that.
Walker's got a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Not a big lead at first. Check swing that he didn't intend to hit, and it's fouled back 1-2.
You know, I talked to some of the Cardinals players yesterday and said, how is it this year? What is it the same? And all of them said something's just different right now. Something's not quite the same or not quite right now. Part of that could be just we're not hitting. But all of them kind of talked about the leadership that Renteria brought, where David Eckstein plays hard. You love to have him on your team. Renteria brought a certain presence and knowledge and intelligence on the team and helped a lot of other players, particularly the Hispanic players, get comfortable in this clubhouse. And they talked a lot about his relationship with Albert Pujols, Renteria, and how he was important to Albert. And even star players need that other guy there to either push them some days, tease them some days, make them laugh. And Renteria knew when and where to go with just about everybody in that clubhouse.
2-2 delivery on the way here, and that's the chemistry, the term we use often in sports talking about teams. And that's going to take some time to develop again here for the Cardinals.
Well, now you're going to get a chance to strike him out, throw him out, because you figure Eckstein's going to be running. Dempster wants to be quick to home plate or give him his best move at first base.
1 for 2 stolen bases. There he goes. That one hit in the air to left center field, not deep. Patterson puts it away. Eckstein will get back. Walker retired. And the struggle continues for Walker. 0 for his last 8 now.
We would be remiss if we came to St. Louis this for the 2nd day in a row and didn't mention George Kissel. A great great part of this organization who for years tutored every guy that came up through this system, was part of this organization for many years, still very much appreciated by everybody associated with St. Louis Cardinals baseball. They're going to do something special for him in July. And when I talked to players who came through his system, they said, I know how to play baseball because of George Kissel. So, George, if you're watching, we really salute you. That type of old school baseball, understanding how to play each and every position, and guys like Bernard Gilkey saying, you taught me how to play the outfield, and in the same breath, Terry Pendleton saying, you taught me how to play third base, that says a lot for anybody.
Tony La Russa couldn't say enough about him when we were talking with him yesterday. How much Kissel meant. He said everywhere we went when we had George on the bench with us for about a year and a half, not only guys from our organization, but they come across from the other dugout to say hi and thank you. He's had so many players that he's crossed paths with.
Well, he said that. He also said that when they have people come in and speak to the team and talk about things, there's George Kissel in the corner taking notes, proving that oftentimes the best coaches and instructors are also the best students.
That one is got him at second base. Woo. Little indecision right there. Hairston and Perez. They do, however, come away with the out, and just Cardinals and Cubs filling up for their short two-game series. The Cubs won the ball game last night. The Cardinals have the 1-0 lead here, and as it has been so far in the first 14 games for the Cardinals, it's been the pitching. They have started now in every one of their games this year a pitcher who's won at least 15 games last year. And Carpenter, Marquis, Mulder, and Supan and Morris. And that's the first time in 29 years a team has done that. The last team that can say that, the Boston Red Sox of '76. And they had Louis Tiant, Rick Wise, Bill Lee, and Fergie Jenkins make starts. So a lot of 15-plus game winners for the St. Louis Cardinals from a 105-win season last year.
If you're not playing every day, the toughest thing is to keep command of that strike zone. And Hairston is showing a little rust right now because he's swinging at breaking pitches low and out of the zone. If the Cubs can get him on at the top of the inning, this is the guy with enough speed to help tie up this game.
Carpenter gets a strike to him. He's taken him out with a called strike three, and he's grounded out.
When we talk about this Cardinal starting rotation, starting five, everybody starting with 15 wins. They have this pitching staff. 4 of the 5 starters are signed through the 2007 season and have control of them. The only guy who's not is Matt Morris, who rehabbed from an injury and is coming back on a 1-year contract. If he performs well, I suspect they'll lock him up as well.
If he's going to throw as well as he threw against Pittsburgh, I think they're going to be delighted to have him back, because he said he had everything going for him and command of everything, especially that good overhand curve.
1-2 delivery. Hairston takes that to left center field. Jim Edmonds. And Hairston an easy out there. 1 down here in the 6th inning. Sunday, the NBA playoffs are underway on ABC. It'll start at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Number 8 seed New Jersey making it in the last regular season game. They'll visit Shaq and the number 1 seed Miami Heat. That's Sunday at 3 Eastern on ABC.
Carpenter has thrown 14 of 19 in first pitch strikes.
Showing bunt and a breaking ball in for a strike, and Neifi Perez can't believe it as he turns to Mike Winters.
Neifi Perez was halfway down to first base. Mike Winters is going to say to him, how do you know whether it was a ball or strike? You didn't stick around to see it.
You didn't give me any strike zone either when you went running out of there. Perez does not have an infield hit yet. He's going to get a base hit there, though. Edmonds coming over to cut it off. And Perez on with his second hit. He's got a 2-for-3 day going. 1 down, 1 on in the 6th.
It's 2 curveballs in a row, and the second of the 2 kind of rolled up there. This didn't have the sharp break of the earlier innings, and Neifi just takes it into right center.
Well, let's see if this lineup adjustment that Dusty Baker made pays off. He wanted Patterson in the 3-hole because he's 8 hits and 18 at bats, including a home run off Carpenter. He's had a single, 1 for 2 in the game. Neifi Perez with speed on at first base. Inside and low. 1-0 to Corey Patterson.
Well, I know Patterson's had good numbers against Carpenter, but a little bit of a surprise that Derek Lee, who has been the hottest hitter for the Cubs, is down in the 6th hole in this lineup. I would have thought he might have fit in nicely behind Patterson, maybe in the 4 spot in the lineup, because he has been such a hot hitter though so far.
Yeah, you'd think you'd want that big bat getting more opportunities up in the lineup. Patterson down to first. What a stop. Got a tag at second base. Pujols throw. They got him. An argument at first base. Hang on.
Looked to me like he stepped on the bag, and I mean, it was not even a close play.
Looks like we might have catcher's interference or something on this. I can't imagine any other play wide that would keep them on the field.
Everybody is safe.
Mike Winters might have just said that he tipped the glove. It's the only thing that could have happened.
Everybody is on here. They send Perez back to second base, and they get Patterson out at first. What a break for the Chicago Cubs.
I think you could see Winters going up to say he tipped it, and Corey Patterson is saying I hit the glove. So what looked like an outstanding play unravels for St. Louis. That could turn out to be the biggest play of the game.
It is going to be a catcher's interference. An error charged on Molina. The runners are all safe at first and second base. Don't see that very often. Carpenter's got to go back to work after he thought he was out of the inning, and there's only one away. Ramirez 0 for 2, 1 down, 2 on.
This is where you can really judge a pitcher's concentration. You look at the unearned run column and see if he can keep his concentration after a bad break, a bad play, or anything that disrupts his rhythm. That particular play, when you think you're out of the inning and walking off the hill, that can have a tendency to lose your concentration.
That is a very big play in this game. Instead of inning over, it's first and second and 1 down. Ramirez, that one gets bounced to the backstop, and there goes the ground ball double play as the runners move up on a wild pitch.
Seems to me like Duncan's got to come out from the dugout and talk to Carpenter, because all of a sudden the two pitches were nowhere near. No movement from the Cardinal dugout, and Molina tried to backhand a ball that he might have been able to get in front of.
Second wild pitch. You've got both ends of the battery here, maybe thinking about other things. See the glove flip down a little bit. That bat just touched the glove as Molina reached out. That was the interference call. 2-0 count. Ramirez. Big cut.
Well, Molina really looked like he was reaching for that breaking ball. Got his hand within the plane of the bat to where it made contact. And Steve, I think you make a good point where Duncan not going out there. This is where I think they missed Mike Matheny. He would have been the guy to go out there and calm down the pitcher. But now you have a rookie or young catcher who made a mistake of his own and now is thinking about himself instead of, I've got to focus on my guy out there on the rubber.
2-1 breaking ball down the line and left and headed to the seats. Foul. The Cardinals have the shift on in the infield against Ramirez. They're playing him to pull all the way. Grutzelanek is behind second base. Pujols halfway between first and second is playing in. Everybody else in the infield is back. The outfield also plays him to pull a little bit with a big hole in right center. 2-ball, 2-strike count. 12 RBIs on the board for Ramirez, and a chance here. The Cubs again trying to get on the board. 2 in scoring position and 1 away. 2-2 delivery. Another break for the Cardinals. Ramirez is out of there. No, it's the Cubs who can't find the big hit in this game.
Good overhand curve and a good block by Molina.
Ramirez just looked to the heavens after that one. Couldn't believe he swung at it. 3 strikeouts for Carpenter, 2 down. Burnett's 0 for 2, also a strikeout victim. Third time. The Cubs have had 2 on and 1 out, and they've not been able to score yet. Carpenter to Burnett's.
You know, I don't want to kill this lineup issue too much, but when you look at it, you've got Derek Lee, who's been absolutely on fire, and if he's hitting in a spot that he gets more opportunity in a 4-hole or even in the 3-hole in your lineup, he might be a guy that's up. What Dusty Baker has set up is the left right balance to the lineup so that Tony La Russa can't bring in a reliever.
That is foul. That was close to being right over the bag.
Well, I'm a firm believer in if a guy's red hot, you want to give him a possibility to get up in the first inning, because that's when a pitcher is most vulnerable. That's when his control might be spotty. In the 6th spot, unless you put together a big inning, that guy's not going to get to bat. As it turned out, they got 2 hits in the first inning. Ramirez grounded into the double play. Lee was still 2 hitters away.
Now they've got the 2 on, and Burnett's up, and he's got an 0-2 count. So Carpenter trying to battle his way back. That one to center field. Jim Edmonds, and Carpenter did. So the Cubs 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position today. They were only 4 for 18 last night, even though they won. Cardinals up here. The RBI 4th inning, a double by Scott Rowland that drove Walker home. Jim Edmonds up now, has singled and struck out. Edmonds batting at .282 on the year after a tremendous season last year, which he hit .301. Matched his career high in home runs with 42, and he set a new high in RBIs with 111 runs batted in. Ryan Dempster, the 1-1 delivery to it, is 1-2.
It looks like he'll just reach out and flick at the ball outside, but he's one of the most powerful opposite field hitters in the entire major leagues. And I talked with Hal McRae about it, and he said because he reaches out and drives the ball that way, that's his natural stroke. He actually had to teach himself how to consistently pull the ball in the major leagues.
1-2 count on him here, Dempster, and Dempster comes back inside on him. These 2 pitchers have again dominated in the game. 4 strikeouts, 2 walks for Dempster.
Dusty Baker and Larry Rothschild for the Cubs have to be ecstatic about what they're getting out of Ryan Dempster today. They thought every start he's made, he's gotten a little bit better, because remember, he's missed an awful lot of time, and with that, you lose. You have to be able to recall your experiences, and when you go through, you have to re-experience everything again, and he's doing that right now, but the learning curve has been very quick.
2-3 record lifetime against the Cardinals. Tommy John surgery, right elbow, August of 2003. Ryan Dempster making his way back after last year rehabbing it. Scott Rowland, he got in games, minor leagues, and even at the end of the majors, but this was a season where he was going to find out whether he can still pitch.
And although John Shearholtz, Walt Jocketty to a certain extent, Brian Sabian get a lot of credit, Jim Hendry has done a spectacular job with the Cubs. For instance, when you take a look around at this lineup, only one man is a product of the Cub organization, Corey Patterson. Other than that, Jim Hendry has acquired all of them in the lineup today.
Scott Rowland, the RBI in this ball game. 2-1 delivery to him. Swung on, foul tipped into the mitt, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. 1 down, nobody on. 5 hits for the Cubs, 4 for the Cardinals. Only error committed on that catcher interference did not result in the Cubs putting anything across. 2-2 pitch. Rowland got it to center field. Patterson is there, puts it away. We've talked about how this is going to be the last season here in this ballpark. Gary Miller, a new one, is going up.
Gary, and we were visiting with Walt Jocketty in his suite, looking down at the sea of red and humanity, just taking in what a great sports setting this is. But if you were in the old Busch Stadium, you can look right across the parking lot and you see the new one going up. About a 40,000 seat structure when it opens next April on opening day. By the All-Star break, the complete 46,000 seat facility will be in. You'll be able to see the arch over the outfield wall, and this area where we're at now will become a series of retail shops, restaurants. It'll be called Ballpark Village, and if you're really a Cardinal fan, you could even live here. There'll be residential areas as well.
And you can believe that that'll be hot property here in St. Louis. We thank our great friends at the Westin Hotel across the street. Got a camera up on their roof, and they take some shots down because the ballpark, the new one, is literally outside the walls here of the current Busch Stadium. And the construction work, in fact, going on today. Good Salatic, 2-0 count. That one to right field. That's going to be tough to handle, but it is. Jeremy Burnett's getting over there and hauls it in. And Dempster retires the side in order. Good one underway. The pitcher's going at it. There'll be some traffic jam out there today. Construction trucks and about 55,000 leaving. Derek Lee is going to lead it off here. Lee with a single, now a 5-game hit streak, 1 for 2 in the game, and a .414 batting average. Chris Carpenter has gone the distance without walking anyone, striking out 3 for the Cardinals and preserving a 1-0 lead. We're in the top of the 7th inning. Jams Lee inside and an 0-2 count. Great pitch right there.
Carpenter is average below 6 innings per start, and one of the things you look for is that curveball, and he started to roll a couple of them.
Derek Lee right now 3rd in the league in average, and Carpenter's #1 in controlling right here. 1 down, 4 strikeouts. Let's check in again with Gary Miller.
Gary, Derek Lee won the bet on the NCAA championship night. His Tar Heels beat U of I, so we got the money from Todd Hollinsworth. Now, why is Hollinsworth a U of I fan? Well, his wife, Marcy Hergus, Matt Hergus' sister, is from Champaign, and we give a shout out to the Tumble Inn in Champaign, which Todd puts up with. They're watching today. Even though there's a lot of Cardinals there, he tolerates it being in the middle of Cardinal country.
Tumble in. That is a fair ball. Carpenter. Hollinsworth is retired.
Well, they're not too pleased about that, Gary, at least on the Cardinals side of the fans down there at the Tumble Inn. But Todd talked to me before the game about what it's like to have this kind of rivalry right in the middle of the family.
I think it's tougher with Matt and I, my brother-in-law, than it might be, Cubs Cardinals. But at the same time, it's like they always say, it's like, we want you to get great positive results, just don't have any bearing on the game. And in the sense that don't beat the Cardinals, don't get don't hurt Matt or his ERA or anything like that, or help turn the game. But we want to see you get your hits and your walks and whatnot.
So the Cardinal fans were happy about that last at bat, but obviously those on the Hergus Hollinsworth side of the family, have to take their victories where they can get them, Gary.
Well, we say hello to the Tumble Inn. We understand Dr. Download visits the Tumble Inn often.
Oh, yeah.
Tumbles in, falls out. That's one of my favorite places for extracurricular activities, the Shuffle Inn. Say hello to them back in Old Town, Maine. Shuffle in, stagger out was our motto. True story. Henry Blanco at the plate, 2 down, nobody on. He's gone 0 for 2, takes a strike from Carpenter, 3 and 2.
And I think he has the fate of Ryan Dempster in his hands. If he gets on, they're going to pinch hit for Dempster. They've got Wirtz throwing in the bullpen.
Pinch hitter's ready to go here, and indeed he is going to get on. A base hit out into left field. Randy Sanders coming over to get a big turn, and Blanco is on the board. Gets his first hit after going 0 for 13 to start the season. He delivers the single with 2 down here in the 7th inning. So Ryan Dempster's day is complete. He will come out of there hoping that the Cubs can pick up a couple of runs here, which would go to his benefit and give him an opportunity to be the pitcher of record on the winning side in this game.
Fontenot was called up just a few days ago, and he's coming on to pinch hit. He's a middle infielder, and the Cubs need all of those they can get. Todd Walker out from 4 to 6 weeks, probably has a month left, maybe a little less in his rehab. And they possibly lost Nomar Garciaparra for, if not the season, certainly an extended period of time.
Fontenot's 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter so far. Carpenter with a runner at first, not holding Blanco. With the left-hander up, they'll play Pujols behind the runner. Cubs with their 6th hit of the game, out hitting the Cardinals now 6-4. All of their hits have been singles. And the lone RBI came on the extra base hit we've had, and that was Rollins. Scott Rollins in the 4th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery by Carpenter. Popped him up. Shallow left field. Sanders coming in. Eckstein going out. Outfielder's got the call and makes it. So Fontenot is retired. No one's run hit. 1 left on. 7th inning stretch time for Busch Stadium, where the Cardinals trying to even out this series. Lead it 1-0. In St. Louis, you want to hear Take Me Out to the Ball Game? It's got to have a little Louis Armstrong in it, even if he was from New Orleans. And that does, doesn't it? Let's take a look now at our Dannon Fantasy Stars. You got it. These are the names. These are the players who right now have the hot numbers going for the Red Sox with Manny Ramirez offensively. Last 5 games. Derek Lee, who we've taken a look at here, has continued his streak. And Milt Bradley, a surprise in that grouping for the Dodgers. Lee today, 1 hit, 3 at bats. He's got a 5-game hit streak and hitting over 400. Mike Wirtz is coming on to do the pitching.
He's another sinker baller out of the Cubs organization. Good live arm. And last year he came up early, was very impressive in 12 performances for the Cubs. Then he fell on some hard times. They sent him down to the minor leagues before calling him up late. He made the team out of spring training. As you can see by those pretty impressive numbers, he's throwing the ball well early in this season.
Bottom of the 7th inning. Reggie Sanders leading it off. Sanders a strike. Has drawn an intentional pass, 0 for 1 at the plate. Another pitcher's duel between Zambrano and Dempster. Zambrano started last night for the Cubs. Dempster today. Those starters 14 and a third innings, 2 runs and 9 hits. Zambrano going 9 2/3 last night and 8 2/3 and getting the win rather. He did not go around on that. 1 and 2. Dempster leaves, however, having to hope he could be the losing pitcher in this game despite the effort.
I think both managers know that they're going to go as far as their pitching staffs are going to take them. Both pitching staffs have had a couple of good games here in St. Louis.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Reggie Sanders swings through that one. Pretty good heat. Wirtz gets the strikeout on the first man he faces.
Well, if you're a fan of National League Central Baseball, you're going to get a lot of great pitching matchups this year. The Houston Astros with Clemens and Pettit and Oswalt and Backey have a very deep rotation, along with these Cardinals and Chicago Cubs. And a lot of intra-division play early on here. Some very good pitching matchups.
And if you run into Milwaukee and get Ben Sheets, it's no day.
Not bad either, huh? Or Oliver Perez with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yadi Molina's 0 for 2 today. Wirtz's pitch to him. That overhand is there at the letters. 1 ball, 1 strike on Molina. So we continue this series that had only 4 runs scored in last night's game and only 1 here today. 1-0 lead for the Cardinals. 1-1 pitch tap foul. Cardinals have had 1 shutout to their credit. They have not been shut out. Chicago's 1-1 in that department.
Talking about Ben Sheets in Milwaukee, it's a lot like 1972 with the big lefty Steve Carlton in Philadelphia. They won 59 games. He won 27. If you got anybody else, it was an easy day. If you got him, it was yikes.
1-2 fastball misses outside. We were talking about surprises of the season early. I'm looking at the scoreboard where the Nationals are shutting out Atlanta again. They've got a 9-6 record. The Nationals do. They shut out Atlanta last night, and they're doing it again today. Talk about some good pitching. Got that one on the ground ball out to Hairston. Boys and Girls Clubs of America, the official charity of Major League Baseball. Together they create a positive place for kids. We will email Frank Robinson. We'll let Dr. Download do that to let him know on ESPN we mentioned the Nationals. Okay, we want Frank to know that.
But we have a 1-swing rule, and it was Vidro last night.
That's
we'll
right.
See what happens today.
Fastball is taken up high by Carpenter. For those who may have missed it, Frank came out and complained that ESPN on SportsCenter did not run enough of the national highlights.
Well, they won 1-0 yesterday. There wasn't a whole lot of offensive swings to be able to put out, was it?
Foul back. They're off to a great start, though. They're playing some good baseball. 1 ball, 1 strike on Carpenter is 0 for 2. Fans applauding the good catch made in the stands. Take a bow and a couple of high fives. 1-1 delivery by Wirtz. That one misses, and a 2-ball 1-strike count.
Carpenter at 6'6" is a real inviting target. It's tough to get the ball too high to him.
Wirtz is 6'3", 205-pounder, so you got some pretty good heft. These two pitchers one another. You put that one down and in, and a 2-ball 2-strike count. Wirtz out of Austin, Minnesota. First major league experience last year, coming up through the Cub organization. 2-2 delivery to Carpenter, and it's full.
Get Remlinger warming up in the bullpen.
Nobody on here. 3-2 delivery with 2 away. Neifi Perez. And that will do it. Another 1-2-3 inning, and the pitchers continue to dominate. We've completed 7. 1-0 Cardinals. Sox got rid of these kinds of signs by beating the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series. The Cubs are now the ones to see these popping up everywhere.
It's only been since 1908.
Patience.
And
Got to be patient.
And their fans have had it for many a year.
Hairston leading it off. Jerry Hairston against Carpenter. Fouls that off. He's 0 for 3 today. Hairston came in and is a hot hitter. 7-game hit streak. 8 hits in 23 at bats now during the streak.
If you can find a guy to tell you some good Calvin Coolidge jokes, you'll find somebody who saw them win last time.
And that will take a. You'll have to Google that one, Mr. Downloader. 0-2 count. 0-2 count on Hairston. Now Google should sponsor something in our day games here. That one's popped up. First base. Played by Pujols. Hairston is retired. Nomar Garciaparra out of the lineup. A torn groin last night, 3rd inning.
It was a terrible looking injury, and although we don't have the official results, they have to wait 7 to 10 days for Nomar and the doctors to make a determination if they're going to perform surgery on him. It just doesn't look good for the rest of this year.
Enormous loss. He had not gotten off to a good start, but nevertheless, a very big loss.
Well, Dusty Baker knows, too, nobody's going to feel sorry for him in the Chicago Cubs right now. They have Todd Walker and Nomar Garciaparra, second base and shortstop down. He said, look, nobody's feeling sorry for us. We have to figure it out and try to find a way.
Neifi Perez to Edmonds. And Carpenter continues rolling on here. What a game he's pitching. Couple of jam spots in this game that he's been able to work out of with a little help defensively, but mostly on his own. Now there are 2 down, nobody on here, and Patterson coming up.
Well, he made some big pitches in the 1st inning. 2 on, 1 out. He got Ramirez, a dangerous hitter, to ground into a double play, and then concentrated and pitched his way out of the 5th inning. Those were the 2 spots where he could really have been hurt.
Cubs have had their chances today. 2 in scoring position in both the 5th and 6th, and 1 left on in the 1st in scoring position. They've left 6 on total. 1-0 delivery to first base. Pujols over, foul ball. Boy, does he look smooth down there at first.
He has been. He looks so athletic this year. I mean, last year it seemed like he had a hard time moving around. He's got a spring in his step, does Albert Pujols, and he's shown a lot of athletic ability in this 2-game series.
Even on the catcher's interference, that was a terrific play by Pujols. It looked like it was going to be a double play, only to have it called back.
Patterson again fights that one off, and it goes to a ball and 2 strikes on Patterson.
And here's where pitchers have taken advantage of Corey, because he has a nose-to-toe strike zone, and they either throw a fastball up and out of the zone or a breaking ball in the dirt. If Corey can just work on a little selectivity, he can hit the ball just about as far as anybody.
See what Carpenter comes with here, ahead on the count 1 and 2. Got him. 5 strikeouts in the game. Carpenter perfectly positioning that one on the inside part of the plate. A 1-2-3 inning. We go to the bottom half of the 8th. The Cardinals and Chris Carpenter shutting out the Cubs. You go at ESPN.com. Click on MLB TV. You can get access to every pitch of every game, video and/or audio. It's live online, and this a must for all baseball fans. David Eckstein leading it off. The Cardinals try and add something on here in the 8th inning to a 1-0 lead.
Good teams add on at least one right here. Take the pressure off either Carpenter or Isringhausen, depending on who Tony wants to work the ninth.
Eckstein taking a pitch. He is single, 1 for 3. He's had 3 hits and 7 at-bats in the 2-game series. St. Louis Cardinals going to remain at home. Mentioned earlier, 15 of 21 at home. They're in a big homestand section of their season right now. They've got quite a matchup coming. They've got the Astros coming in, and on Saturday, Mark Mulder and Roger Clemens are going to go against one another. That ought to be fun.
That's a pretty good matchup.
Eckstein hitting at 295. Walker and Pujols to follow. Pops that one up. First base. Lee. 1 down. Not many runs, which means some pretty good pitching. And that's what we've seen here in this series.
Well, both of these teams figured to have very strong starting rotations. The Cardinals may be favored at the tail end of the bullpen, but the middle just about equal. And as you can see, the pitchers have really dominated in the series. Dusty going out to have a word with Michael Wirtz. That's going to be it for him.
So he works an inning and a third, retiring the 4 hitters that he faced. Dusty Baker will go to the bullpen with Walker coming up. Walker getting ready to come up with 1 down, nobody on in the 8th inning for the Cardinals. He'll be facing the 39-year-old left-hander Mike Remlinger on the mound.
There's a look at the numbers this year, and Mike Remlinger normally much tougher on right-handers than left-handers. The numbers bear out. He's really had trouble with Larry Walker, who certainly doesn't mind seeing him come into the game. Walker hitting .444 against Remlinger.
Yikes. Takes the pitch down low for a ball. He's 0 for 2 and a walk today.
Lefties are hitting .300 against Remlinger this year, and righties hitting .082. I mean, it's the numbers are pretty telling. He's much more effective against the right-hander.
1-0 delivery is foul back. Walker with a big cut. Walker would like to get out of this 0 for he's in right now, the 0 for 8. Get that over with before they move on to the next series and not have to wait for another game. He's batting just .200. 1 home run and 5 RBIs. Left-hander's pitch to him is taken down low, 2-1.
Steve Stone, why is Remlinger more effective against the right-handed hitter than the left-hander?
It's because that changeup, which dives away from the right-hander, is neutralized with left-handers. That's why a lot of switch hitters hit left-handed against Tom Glavine.
And Walker drills it deep to right field. Goodbye, home run.
I watched it all last year. I'm starting out seeing it this year.
His first home run of the year gets him out of an 0 for 8. And that move by Dusty Baker is inexplicable. How can you bring Remlinger in to pitch against Walker when Walker's got those kinds of numbers against him?
Well, we're going to take a look at the swing. Remlinger fell behind. He threw a high fastball. Walker knew he got it all the way, and the Cardinals get that tack-on run.
Well, he said he wanted to get out of the slump. Larry Walker did.
He's been working with Hal McRae. He knew he got this one when it left the bat. The appreciative fans here in St. Louis ask him for the curtain call, and it's 2-0, with takes a lot of pressure off this Cardinal team. They were nursing that 1-0 lead all the way.
First home run, 4 RBIs for Walker on the year. Now Chad Fox in, so Mike Remlinger works to just 1 batter, giving up the home run. Here is Albert Pujols. Takes it inside for a ball. Cardinals have now had a home run in each of their last 10 games. That pitch is lined out to right field. That's going to be in the gap. That's going to roll all the way to the wall. That could be, nope, going to stop at second base. Pujols 2 hits today as he is on with a double.
Well, we talked earlier about Albert Pujols and the fact he has very few holes at the plate. He takes that high ball up and away and just gets the bat head on it and drives it to right center field. He has as good a plate coverage as any major league hitter I've ever seen. I mean, he can just take the ball from the inside part to the outside part of the plate, the high ball and the low ball. There aren't many major league hitters that cover every part of home plate.
And let me correct myself on Larry Walker. 2 home runs on the season now for Walker. Runner on at second base as the Cardinals' best offense they've had comes here in the bottom half of the 8th inning.
Sometimes it's just a little thing that can turn on an entire offense, and that home run by Walker in this game for the Cardinals might have just done it. Pujols came up. When he's hitting the ball to right center, then you know he's starting to get locked in. Now this is a guy that will work as long and hard as anyone. You know, one of the game's great hitters worked to make himself an excellent defensive first baseman, and he really doesn't have any holes. You can't consistently go to one spot.
Jim Edmonds has struck out twice in this game, 1 for 3. 1 down, runner at second base, Pujols. Each team now with 6 hits. The Cardinals leading it 2-0. Cubs will get one more shot at it in the 9th. Pujols being held close by Perez at second base. Chad Fox with a 1-2 delivery, and Edmonds over the top of it for a 3 strikeout day for Edmonds, and there are 2 down.
It's a pretty good slider by Chad Fox. He keeps it away. He keeps it down to Edmonds. Now you have first base open, and although I don't advocate necessarily giving him 4 straight bad ones, I would be careful with Roland. He can do you a lot more damage than Grzelcyk, who's 0 for 3 today.
Isringhausen is the closer, 1 or 2 up in the bullpen. Scott Rowland. Rowland delivering that first RBI in the 4th inning on a double with some good base running by Larry Walker, who's played a part in this game with a home run here in this inning and scoring in the 4th after he got a walk to start it out and hustle on the base pass to get himself in scoring position. That one down the line and foul.
You know, a lot of times I think that when we criticize managers for pitching changes frequently, we have to really look then, does he have the personnel out there to get the job done? Or is it just he's making a guess or a choice among, you know, the lesser of all the evils that he has out there to make a decision? Where does Dusty go if he doesn't bring Remlinger in that situation? Leaves works in there.
Well, he's got some very good sinker balling right-handers. Obviously, he felt that it was a decent matchup, Remlinger to Walker. History would say that it wasn't.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It didn't work out that way.
And if he continues to make a mistake, then he has to make an adjustment and try something different, because Remlinger hasn't been able to get the left-hander done to get him out. So Dusty has to really look at it. You can't keep making the same mistake. You have to try something different, don't you?
Well, last year at times they had a situation, a left-hander in Kent Merker, who started out throwing the ball pretty well for Cincinnati. They decided to let Merker go. This year they've got Remlinger out there, and they got Bartosh, a left-hander that Cleveland let go. They got him late, but they don't have that one guy that managers love to have, a guy who can come in. Mike Myers in his prime, a guy that can come in, get one left-hand hitter out, and you pretty much know he's going to do that. The Cubs don't have that luxury.
Remlinger is supposed to be that guy, but that's not happening for him and has not. Rowland with a 2-2 delivery. That's the second one bounced. As Fox turns around and digs in on the mound, didn't like the way he landed on that, and certainly didn't like the way that pitch ended up, almost getting away. That's 2 blocks by Blanco.
You know, for me, I guess that if it's not the left-hander, then you've got to bring a sinker baller that's going to keep it in the ballpark for you in this sort of a game right now.
And Walker took it out of here. 3-2 delivery. Rowland on the check swing, keeps it that way. 3-2. Cubs in the 9th inning. Here you see they've got some power coming up there. Isringhausen is the closer. Will he be on?
I personally would bring him in. Isringhausen's throwing great. You start him out where you have some margin for error. There's nobody on base. Carpenter's been real good, but he's averaging less than 6 innings per start. It is early in the year to me. You hand Izzy the ball and you say, go get him.
3-2 delivery again. Towering fly ball left field. This is way back at the wall, and goodbye. Home runs.
With first base open, they elected to go right at Scott Rowland. It's now a 4-run game. Beforehand, you might not mention it. I have a lot of respect for Mark Grudzielanek, but he hasn't hit a home run this year, and Scott Rowland drives in 100 every year. And that was a towering blast to left center field.
Rowland makes it a 4-0 lead as he gets home run number 3. He's got 9 RBIs now, 3 today. Mark Grudzielanek fouls it back.
Now that would be one thing if Chad Fox were trying to pitch around Rowland and he made a mistake. There's not even a thought there of pitching around him. Maybe because he's struggling or whatever, but if you make a mistake, Rowland could do damage that Grudzielanek cannot.
Down to third. Ramirez makes a play on Grudzielanek, but big-time damage done here in the 8th inning. Larry Walker against Rumlinger delivered the homer, and then the 2 RBI shot by Rowland. We go to the 9th. Let's get a shot, 4-0 lead this Saturday. ESPN HD, an NBA playoff triple header. 5:30 Houston Dallas, 8 o'clock Pacers Celtics, 10:30 Kings and Sonics. Carpenter going for the complete game. Ramirez pops it up. 1 down. Sanders hauls it in, 1 away in the 9th.
Interesting approach, 4 runs down. I know Carpenter's been throwing strikes in 94 pitches headed into the 9th inning here, but if you're 4 runs down, you got to make them work a little bit and try to see some pitches. You need base runners right now. A solo home run on that first pitch doesn't necessarily do a lot for you here.
What an outing for Carpenter, and Burnitz does the same thing. Eckstein. Talk about helping a pitcher. 9th inning, you're down 4-0, and your first 2 hitters swing at the first pitch. Well, Carpenter got a chance for a complete game shutout.
He only completed 1 all of last year. With a 4-run lead, Tony said, go out there. I still have Izzy in the bullpen. See if you can wrap it up.
Lee takes it for a strike. Carpenter 5 career shutouts, all with the Blue Jays. Last one a 14-0 win over the Yankees. That came in 2000. He's had 12 complete games, including the one last year Steve spoke of. He's after the complete game shutout here. Cubs, who have been shut out once already this year. Lee takes the strike, 1 and 2.
Carpenter hasn't walked anybody and has only 2 3-ball counts. That's constant command from start to present.
5 strikeouts in the game for him. 1-2 delivery is inside. That big cushion may have helped keep him in the game in the 8th inning with the 3 runs on 3 hits by the Cardinals, 2 home runs. 2-2 pitch. So he'll take it to 3-2. 2060th meeting of the Cubs and Cardinals. 3-2 delivery by Carpenter, and a base hit by Lee. So he has remained hot. 2 hits in this game, 2 for 4, 2 singles. And Carpenter has given up 7 hits in the ball game, but they've all been singles.
And in the 6th spot in the batting order, Derek Lee has come up 4 times in the game, not a 1 time with a runner on base.
Todd Hollinsworth stands in, 1 for 3. Not going to hold the runner with 2 down here in the 9th inning, and that 4-0 lead.
I think Tony's going to give him one more hitter. If he doesn't get Hollingsworth, Isringhausen comes in the game.
1-0 delivery. Hollingsworth fights it off. 1-1. Well, the starting pitching for the St. Louis Cardinals early on this season has been magnificent. Even more than they could have hoped for, maybe. Their starters here have given up 3 or fewer runs now in the last 7 games. Runner goes uncontested down to second base. Lee.
I love that call, defensive indifference. You don't find many sports where you have defensive indifference.
And it's the words speak the truth.
Maybe the Cleveland Cavaliers on occasion, but outside of that, you just don't see it very much.
Defensive indifference moves the runner down. Carpenter, the 2-1 delivery, and it's 2-2. You kind of have a mental picture when you say that. Defensive indifference. Guys just kind of slouching on the field.
They just didn't care.
They just didn't care.
It's kind of like the picture I found with Dr. Download over here.
Same thing. Staring at a blank screen. 2-2 count. About it. Goes in the dirt. Another 3-2 count. Another stop by Molina. You look back at that catcher's interference call that came in that 6th inning when the Cubs could not do anything with it, extending an inning. What should have been over ended up first and second, 1 down, and Carpenter battled back to get Ramirez and Burnitz. They did not score, and he's not looked back. Hollingsworth waiting on the 3-2. That's going to probably do it. Duncan's on his way out. First walk of the game by Carpenter.
Well, looks like they're going to probably give him one more hitter, probably.
Pretty earnest discussion going on.
Well, he's trying to let him close it out. He still has a shutout intact. Michael Barrett is going to be facing him. Barrett had a good night last night. He got off to a slow start with the bat, but lately he's starting to swing it pretty well. Got Jose Macias in the on-deck circle, a switch hitter in case Barrett can keep it alive.
Now you see how important those bottom of the 8th inning runs were, aren't they? Was 1-0 till they added on the 3, and they no longer are add-ons. Carpenter would not even remotely be in this game had they not gotten those runs. Barrett up as a pinch hitter. 2 down, 9th inning.
Well, that is the thing that good teams do. They find ways to win and to hold their lead if they're out in front. The Cardinals did it. The Cubs grinded out a win yesterday, but they didn't do what the Cardinals have done today. Those tack-on runs become very important.
Barrett's first chance as a pinch hitter this year. Carpenter's pitch in the dirt. Again, Molina stops it. Carpenter just reaching down, trying to find that 1 ounce of gas that's left in the tank to finish this game. Barrett 6 for 21 off him with 2 home runs. He's had pretty good success against Carpenter. One and 2. Burnitz and Lee went after the first pitch they saw on the first 2 outs. Ramirez rather than Burnitz. Lee then came on, got on. Hollingsworth the walk. They're the 2 base runners. Barrett waiting 1-2.
Well, he's out there hanging by a thread right now. Whatever he's got, he's going to show to Michael Barrett. He's reaching as far back as he can, wanting to close it down to record that shutout. When you don't have much left in the tank, the catcher just goes, show it to me.
Bring it here. 2-ball, 2-strike count. This is going to be the 19th pitch that he's had to throw here in the 9th inning. Coming up. This is the classic crawl to the finish line. 2-2 delivery. And he got him. A complete game shutout for Chris Carpenter, who picks up his 3rd win. Finishing it this way.
He had one more curveball left. It was a dandy. Carpenter moves to 5-1 lifetime against the Cubs. It was a gem here today.
Well, I think the other thing for the Cardinals today is their offense came alive late in the game. The 2 guys they need to swing the bat, Larry Walker and Scott Rowland, delivered when they needed him to extend the lead to get them the victory today, and they hope this is the jump start for these big bats to move forward.
So these 2 teams, this great rivalry, first meeting of this season, and this is just the short 2-game set. They will not see one another again until July 22nd. This series goes 1-1. Cardinals win game 2. Cardinals win it 4-0 as Carpenter's 3-1 the winner. Dempster the loser 1-3. 46,119 on hand to watch this one. Don't forget Sunday Night Baseball coming up. American League match. It'll be the Angels taking on the Athletics. It's 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Available on ESPN Deportes and ESPN HD. Coming up next, ESPN News. For Gary Miller, Steve Stone, Steve Phillips, I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks for being with us. Our day game from St. Louis is in the books, and the Cardinals win it 4-0.